was. And did you guys see from picks and bans on that this was going to be a clear-cut victory from Fnatic, or what did you make of the comps?
Well, I mean, after the game, and I think also before the game, I think we can agree leaving Twitch open to Reckless, probably not the best idea. I think Copenhagen Wolves felt forced to ban Nidalee because Yasuo was being banned away. Normally, Yasuo is the counter to Nidalee. But still, it's not worth it when you leave Twitch open, you saw Fnatic instant lock it, and when you can't even punish him in the laning phase, there's nothing you can do. Fnatic just took full control and Reckless just destroyed everything.
Yeah, I think they had a bit of a painful champion select overall because Kassadin has to go in there on that red side ban. We've seen that the Wolves have constantly banned out Nidalee, even without the Yasuo gone as well. But with the Yasuo ban, they were definitely forced to do that, and then your pickings are kind of slim where you go from that. That was already the first blow of the game, I think, for the Wolves.
And then going into the game itself, Copenhagen Wolves early game, maybe lacking in some aspects.
Maybe.
I mean, careful.
I mean, yesterday they played SK Gaming. It was the same story. They lost early on. There was a lane swap they lost on, but still they lost the early game. Pretty much every single lane fell behind, and then it got destroyed in, I believe, 27 minutes or something. Fnatic here also just completely destroying Copenhagen Wolves. There's clearly some issues when it comes to the laning phase, and also when it comes to the matchups between the champions they play. For instance, in this game here, Unlimited, because he died to the first blood, yes, so he was under-leveled early game, but still he played way too aggressive in the laning phase. He kept engaging in. Whenever there was a chance for him to land his E, he would go in, even though there was a black shield from Yellowstar every time. He took a lot of damage for it. So on the very first gank from Airwax, and where Sana joins in as well, Unlimited is already really, really low because he took so much poke, so it's easy for Fnatic to turn it around and win the fight.
I think it's really scary, actually, from the Copenhagen Wolves side. If we look at the game that they won, they were actually behind from the laning phase in that one as well. In fact, there's only been one game where they were ahead in the laning phase. That was against Alliance, which, of course, Alliance hung on to and kind of slipped back into that one. And the fact is that if you are losing constantly early game, some teams might let that slip away. But we've already seen against two of the stronger teams here, SK and Fnatic, that they just walk straight over them in less than 30 minutes.
So that is actually something we've seen in the spring split as well. They would let those games go late game. So maybe a little bit of a cheeky question. How much is related to changing to players and having to build those up again? And how much may be related to the players that are still there and maybe can't level up accordingly?
Well, if you look at the Copenhagen Wolves lineup from last split, it was often early game, it was built all around Amazing. He had to do the plays, he had to set up the ganks. Now, of course, they have a new jungler. He still needs to get synergy with the team. He needs to feel how it is to play on the stage, how it is to play against all these teams here on the really serious and professional level. So, of course, he's going to need some time to have the same impact as Amazing had. That's going to be a big part in the early game, because if you look at the laners, Youngbuck and Kautot were never people to just win the lane by themselves. They would always rely on Amazing to come in, set up a gank. They wouldn't lose the lane, but they wouldn't win it. So now they have the issue here, if the jungler falls behind for them, the entire team just falls behind.
Yeah, and that's, as you said, just going to take time for them. It's not something that you can just have overnight there. You replace your jungler, it's such a key element, and especially in a team that plays like they do, like you said, with the solo laners, never really completely outplaying their opponent, but as you rightly point out as well, never really losing it. Very solid, but never kind of wavering from that level. It means that if you want to win, the jungler has to be involved, and clearly they've not quite got that down yet.
Yeah, and Fnatic looked really good, but we'll have to see what they can do versus Roccat later. As for now, though, we're about to head back to Demon and QuickShot to get into the next match.